Well, hello and welcome to the 5 News Bright Side. I'm Morgan Wrigley. Thousands showed up to the annual NWA Pride Parade in Fayetteville, one of the largest pride events in the state. 5 News reporter Bo Russell visited Dixon Street ahead of the parade to ask attendees one important question.
At NWA Pride this year, everyone has a seat at the table. I had one question.
What does pride mean to you?
To me, pride is just about existing in a space where you feel safe and comfortable with everything. And it's not often the case, especially in the South, that that's easily accessible. Being here after so many years, seeing that things have grown and changed for the better, it's nice to see that there's still support.
What does pride mean to you?
Pride to me means support and community and faith. So when I'm thinking pride, I'm thinking together with my family and friends and supporting each other and taking pride in who you are and pride in the people around you.
For some, pride is more personal than others.
Community, honestly, it means having a group of people that you can be yourself around. When I feel like a lot of the year, I kind of feel like I have to tone myself down. Today is just not that day. I've identified as trans since 12. Growing up, a lot of my family is pretty religious, but I was raised pretty openly. I didn't know that trans people existed until about 10, 12. I had always felt like a little bit out of place, just like not quite fitting in. I'm very lucky to have such a supportive family who have taken me to pride events and who have really nurtured me growing into the person that I am in my soul.
Each person who sat down had their own answer.
Family, and also being yourself and knowing who you are and deciding to display that to the world.
Pride is something that should be for everybody.
I just wanted to get out. I wanted to see what this is about and be a part of people who are similar to me, I suppose.
Everyone has a seat at NWA Pride.
Pride to me means being comfortable to go out and be myself and make other people comfortable to be themselves as well.
In Fayetteville, Bo Russell, 5 News.
Fayetteville Veterinary Care introduced the internet to one very tiny employee this month, and now millions of people are following Bug's journey. 5 News reporter Emily Moss introduces us to this special kitten behind the viral video.
He's checking in patients, helping with paperwork, and even lending a paw in surgery. Meet Bug, the tiny kitten whose first day on the job at Fayetteville Veterinary Care has gone viral.
We are so happy that Bug has gotten all of this attention and that everyone loves him as much as we do.
For the clinic, it's easy to see why Bug has captured so many hearts.
Something struck a chord, I think, in the audience. I think it just gave a lot of people a happy feeling.
But behind the tiny scrub cap is a battle most people don't see.
Congenital hydrocephalus is basically an overaccumulation of fluid on the brain.
Despite this diagnosis, Bug hasn't stopped being Bug.
He's still eating great, he's not having seizures, he's gaining weight slowly but surely.
His next step is a visit with a veterinary neurologist, where specialists will determine whether he's healthy enough for brain surgery to relieve the pressure on his brain.
Just because they're a little different doesn't mean they don't deserve a good quality of life, just like with humans.
Bug's first day on the job made people smile. But now his caregivers hope that same video helps raise the money needed for the care that could change his life.
If he's able to have a lifetime of happiness and a happy cat at the end of it, that's all worth it.
In Fayetteville, covering News Relive, Emily Moss, 5 News.
Well, nearly 5,000 teachers in Arkansas are set to receive bonuses soon. Arkansas Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders announced state educators will get nearly $20 million in merit pay through the LEARNS Act. Nearly 900 educators will get more than $5,000, and 80 teachers will get the maximum of $10,000. Teachers can qualify in several ways, including student performance, mentoring new teachers, or working in critical shortage areas. And the Fayetteville School Board has voted to rename a middle school after the district's longest-serving teacher. The current Woodland Junior High will now be named Thomason Middle School in honor of Thelma Thomason. Thelma, pictured here with former Superintendent John L. Colbert during her retirement in 2023, taught in the Fayetteville District for 61 years. School board members said there was a community-wide effort to name the school after Thomason, and it was an opportunity to highlight her amazing career.
Knowing some of the messages and the emails we got and some of the text messages I got were from people that are in their 50s that are still talking about her being their teacher, their kindergarten teacher, and how throughout school, college included, she was their favorite. So to make that kind of impact on a mind of a 5-year-old that follows through your entire life, that it's pretty special. That's pretty incredible.
The Washington County Election Commission has announced winners from the most recent I Voted sticker contest. There were 95 submissions, and the winners were chosen after a public vote. The first winning sticker up on your screen is from Russell, a 5th grader from Randall G. Lynch Middle School in Farmington. He was one of 4 finalists in the kindergarten to 8th grade bracket. The second winning sticker was from Maddie, a 9th grader at Elkins High School. She was one of 4 finalists in the 9th to 12th grade bracket. The Fort Smith Regional Art Museum opened 3 new exhibits. Inner Struggles showcases all kinds of student artwork from Kinta, Oklahoma. Sorry. I've never heard of that place. Sorry, okay. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. The Fort Smith Regional Art Museum opened 3 new exhibits. Inner Struggles showcases all kinds of student artwork from Kinta, Oklahoma. Students, wait, okay, sorry. I'm gonna do it one more time. 3, 2, 1. The Fort Smith Regional Art Museum opened 3 new exhibits. Inner Struggles showcases all kinds of student artwork from Kinta, Oklahoma. Hope in Bloom is an installation focused on breast cancer awareness. And the big one, Our Common Ground, features work from 100 local and regional artists that the museum says builds connections across boundaries.
It is a way for artists in not only Fort Smith, but also Van Buren, Fayetteville. We have artists from Oklahoma City that come and showcase their artwork.
The exhibits will be at the museum through late October. Volunteers came together recently to help restore the Natural Dam Volunteer Fire Department after a flood left the building heavily damaged. In November, burst pipes flooded parts of the fire station, damaging floors, walls, and the department's training room. For months, firefighters have been working to make repairs, but many of the projects were out of reach because of limited funding. After learning about the department's needs, Lowe's of Van Buren stepped in, donating materials, joining volunteers to restore the floors, repair the walls, and give the building a fresh coat of paint. Firefighter Stephen Evans says seeing the community show up to help means more than just fixing a building.
It's one of the first things they see when they enter our community here. So have this building, revitalized and show that, hey, we care about this community. It's just huge going to be for everybody in the community as well. So take some pride in their hometown.
The project is part of Lowe's Community Impact Program, which helps renovate community spaces across the country. The fire department expects the building to be back in use sometime soon. More than 50 years after serving in Vietnam, Lieutenant Colonel Orrin Culpepper can still tell you about the men he lost, not just their names, but their stories that he has spent decades preserving. 5 News reporter Emily Moss got the chance to sit down with Culpepper and learn more about these brave men.
Inside this binder are 40 names.
This is the order in which these guys died.
All of them are men Lieutenant Colonel Orrin Culpepper served with and lost during the Vietnam War.
There's a kid from down at Newport.
More than 50 years later, he's still carrying their stories with him.
These 40 young men, one of them was 38 years old, the youngest one was 18. Yeah. Average age was about 19 years.
The names, accompanied by photographs.
17 of them were married.
Faces frozen in time from decades ago.
23 of them were too young to buy beer or to vote.
With his list, Culpepper remembers each name and how many of their stories ended.
These men died, in some cases. We held them as their last breath escaped.
The binder wasn't always this organized. It began as a simple list Culpepper carried with him, one he found himself returning to again and again.
I had a list of them. in my pocket, and didn't know why or what. And I got to thinking, well, I wonder what happened to old Thomas here. I wonder where he came from.
That curiosity led him to spend years researching the men he lost, tracking down information about where they came from, the time they served, and where they were laid to rest.
The soldiers that we had over there were tremendous. These guys all knew they should rely on each other.
Coley's memories aren't limited to those who died. Years after the war, he tracked down a man whose plane had been shot down while supporting his unit. Culpepper was part of the rescue. The two remained friends.
So each year I'd call him on Memorial Day too, and we visited. By the by, this year I called and he didn't answer. I had to call several times. His wife answered, and he had passed away last year.
While this war may have ended decades ago, for Culpepper, the friendships and the sacrifices have never been forgotten.
When our country called, each of these men answered, some voluntarily, some not, but each went. And each died doing his duty as he saw it.
Covering news where you live, Emily Moss, 5 News.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for the 5 News Bright Side. We hope to see you again next week.